He knew all about that fight and that injury. Lyon and his crew had found Levay bleeding to death on the Horsley downstairs in London. Lyon was, in fact, the reason Lord Levay still walked the earth. Then again, indirectly, Lord Levay and his friend, the Earl of Ardmay, were indirectly the reason Lyon still walked the earth, and they had sacrificed a fortune in reward money to allow him to walk away, though Lyon primarily had his sister Violet to thank for that. Men will do things for women they wouldn't otherwise in their right minds do. No one knew that better than Lyon. "I'm glad," he said at last, curtly, but he meant it. Levay was a good man, and Lyon had learned that good men were too scarce, and the loss of one was a loss for all. Levay was also the only man in the world who knew where to find Lyon Redmond right now, and one of the very few people in the world who knew him by his 3 identities: the real one, the assumed one, and the one that could get him hanged. Even if this message was a trap to lure him back to Sussex or into the Crown's custody, it mattered little. Lyon had become a man who could elude or escape any trap, by any means necessary. In all likelihood, this message was Levay's way of discharging a debt of honour. "Lord Levay is a fine man, the finest I know, sir," the footman maintained stoutly into the silence. "He married his housekeeper, Mrs. Fountain." This was startling. "Did he, now? Quite the epidemic of marriage in Sussex lately, isn't there?" Lyon said this so bitterly, everyone blinked as if he'd flicked something caustic into their eyes. He drew in a long breath. "And where is Lord Levay at this very moment, Ramsay?" "I expect he's still in Pennyroyal Green, sir, a village in Sussex where I left him. You see, given that he's newly married and, well, he's quite taken a shine to the place. Right nice town it is," he extemporised, brightening. "Is it?" Lyon said with such flat and brutal irony that his crew swivelled toward him in surprise, eyes wide. He was beginning to alarm them. He was beginning to alarm himself. Because for the first time in years, Lyon wasn't certain what he wanted to do. Damn Olivia Eversea, anyway. She'd knocked his world off its axis from that first moment in the ballroom, when she'd turned to him and smiled, and even now, the memory of that smile could stop his breath. He'd last seen Pennyroyal Green in the dead of night almost 5 years ago. His trajectory since then had been as swift and mindless as if he'd been shot from a cannon. And it wasn't just because of what Olivia had said to him in the garden after midnight in the pouring rain. No, after she'd said what she'd said, for a time he'd stopped caring what became of him. No, that fuse had been lit for longer than anyone knew. No one from Sussex had seen him since. No one had certainly tried. He half smiled at the thought of Violet. And it was this that had broken the speed of his trajectory. He'd had his own methods for remaining, however tangentially, informed about the lives of those he'd left behind. He'd proved something over the past 5 years. He'd at first thought it was all for Olivia, but he was no longer certain. He'd tried to purge his life of her, relinquishing even her miniature. Clearly it hadn't worked. But what no one knew, not even his crew, was that this was his final voyage. He'd risked this trip into London to track down the source of a little mystery that could devastate Olivia and her family. He now had his answer. He was, strangely, not surprised by it. But he hadn't been prepared to make a decision about what to do next so soon. "Oh, Liv," he thought. Suddenly it hurt to breathe. Fragments of memories rushed at him, each distinct as stained glass. Olivia walking along the road to the Duffys' house, then breaking into a run when she saw him waiting beneath the elm tree, her face lighting like a star, as if even a second away from him was wasted. That was the memory that always came to him in his darkest moments, and now she was giving herself to another man. His fingers curled on a surge of emotion, but he stopped just short of giving the message the crushing it deserved. She. If Levay had indeed written that word, he might have seen her, or even talked to her, or... He couldn't do it. He couldn't bloody do it. And this is what decided him. He tucked the message into his coat. "You can go, Ramsay," he said. "Thank you." The footman spun and...